And we'll move on to the third presentation, M. Reed. And whenever you're ready, you may.
Good evening. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Michael Reed, and I was a parent on the ARC committee, so you may recognize my face. I wanted to come tonight to clarify some of my observations about what I think is salient to the process. Most of the focus of the decision appears to be on the facility condition index and the pupil spaces. And I understand as a board it's necessary to make sure that your pupil spaces match your pupil population so that you can get full funding from the ministry. So excess pupil spaces are a problem, and obviously facilities that cost more to maintain than it's worth to keep them open would be a problem. However, I'm going to suggest to you tonight that neither of those issues come into play, and that is why the ARC decided to keep Prince Philip open. So I'm going to touch on the first one, the facility condition index, very lightly because somebody else is going to present to you on that in more detail, I believe. But I do want to comment on it to say this much. We were presented with data on how much had been done in terms of capital expenses on the three schools in the last 11 years. In the last 11 years, an average of $11,000 a year was spent on Prince Philip. In the last 5 years, it's been $2,100 per year on average. Dalewood, even less. Over the last 11 years, less than $70,000 was spent. It's $6,000 a year, or just over, $6,000 a year is roughly the average for Dalewood. Now, G.R. Allen did get some major work done in the last few years, and so its 5-year average is $215,000 because of those repairs. But this is where there's a bit of I guess I would question the board to act with credibility. Those three schools you will find in the materials in the ARC, all the board presentation and everything, their facility condition indexes are similar. So if it was worth spending over $1 million on the oldest school in the ARC to bring it to a facility condition index that's similar to the other schools, how would it not be a good financial decision to keep the newest school open, Prince Philip? In fact, it appears to be quite cheap to maintain, and it was never presented to us that there was anything that urgently needed to be done. You can go through the data and there are things that are listed as critical, but that is, they would be critical if they needed to be done, but they actually have to be checked to see if they need to be done. We didn't find anything as an ARC committee. So if the board has information on that, it would be great if they would clarify and tell everyone exactly what it is that needs to be done. So the facility I would put to you that the facility condition index, even if there is some work that needs to be done, and of course there's some, isn't the issue. I think we need to look at pupil spaces, and there is something significant to note here as well. The global pupil space number that's quoted includes the excess pupil spaces happening at Dalewood. But in neither the ARC's, on nobody's recommendation is anything being done about those excess pupil spaces. The board does not suggest, right now there are 15 excess pupil spaces in Dalewood, but the projection is for that to drop so that by 2015 there'd be 91 excess pupil spaces, if those projections are accurate. However, they're primarily based on students who are now, anyway, let's just assume that that is accurate. Nobody's proposing to do anything about those. It is it's a school in which there is rotary, and so you never get 100% utilization anyway. But for whatever the reasons are, the board is not proposing. So we really have to look at the excess pupil spaces in just the two schools, Prince Philip and G.R. Allen. G.R. Allen right now has very few, but there is something that's being done, which is to move quite a number of French immersion students from G.R. Allen to the school in Dundas so that they can attend a school in their community. So the bulk of the drop in pupil spaces at GR Allen is to move students so that they can have a school in their community, go to school in their community. Why would that result in us moving all of Prince Philip out of its community? That makes no sense. In fact, you will find in GR Allen, and this doesn't show up well in the numbers because it isn't the present, it's the future. At GR Allen right now, there are 2 substandard classrooms in the basement. The noise in there is excessive. It would drive me nuts to have to learn in there. Those really should be closed, and in the board's proposal, if it were to do its renovations, they would be closed. Similarly, it's a 3-story school and there are only bathrooms on the first floor. To address that problem would eliminate 2 more classrooms. And the board proposal is to do that if they do their renovations. It seems a lack of integrity to me to say that school, those 92 pupil places should be included in the calculation. If the board is interested in improving and getting rid of excess pupil spaces, it needs to go ahead with renovations in GR Allen when the population drops so that it can do it. Right now, there isn't space to do this, that they're all being used. But as the population drops, if those renovations go forward, you can deal with 92 excess pupil spaces at GR Allen simply by getting rid of substandard basement classrooms and putting in the washrooms and the elevator that need to go in there, or at least the washrooms. So what you have on the board's projections, just using their numbers, which we're not totally confident of, but anyway, is that would leave you with only 50 excess pupil spaces at GR Allen. Prince Philip, the Mandarin program was just approved to go an extra grade. So that actually improves its population by 9, which isn't a lot, but it has a big impact on a small school. So we're talking in 2015, only really 20 pupil spaces. So for a total of 70 pupil spaces, are we going to close Prince Philip? That's talking about the value of the schools to the board. But I'd like to emphasize something about Colleen Morgan's presentation, and it addresses value to the student. And I would hope that the board cares about that enough. If you look at and I'm not a big fan of, the putting too much stock in provincial testing, but the numbers are, I think, significant. I'll just take the last 2 years. 2010, Prince Philip, reading 93, writing 86, math 86. GR Allen, reading 85, writing 87, and 84 for math. Very strong numbers when you consider that the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board was 56 reading, 65 writing, and 61 math. That's a very significant difference between them and the average. Similarly, 2011, reading Prince Philip 80, writing 100. Don't know how they did that, but that's good. Math 73. GR Allen 84 for reading, 76 for writing, 81 for math. Whereas the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board did improve slightly, 61 reading, 68 writing, 63 math. So those are the percentage of students that are at or above, the standard for their grade. The numbers at Prince Philip and GR Allen are significantly higher than the average for the board. They're good, healthy schools. They're performing well. And to take all of Prince Philip and dump it into GR Allen just doesn't make sense. The schools are in good physical condition, apparently, as far as we can tell. And so I would ask you to reconsider the decision to close Prince Philip, to keep it open. It seems to be the cheapest option, and you can address the excess pupil spaces, as I indicated, by doing renovations at GR Allen. Thank you very much for your time.
Any questions for clarification? Trustee Petal?
Two that I want to clarify, and I'm not sure if it's from our presenter. Sorry about the voice. I seem to be losing it. It was coming on last night and it got worse today. 2 things, it's either to our presenter or to staff. I'd like to be reminded of the total cost of renovation that we would be facing if we made any decision to close. And I'd also like to to understand what's kind of floating around as a rumor around some renovations that are apparently being presented as required at Prince Philip if we kept it, in that there's stairwells that are in trouble and various things that actually, from my understanding, there are no stairwells in the school. So I'm just wondering why, so the two questions are total cost of renovations, and secondly, if, where is this coming from an evidence point of view that there are stairs that need repair in a school that apparently doesn't have stairs? Can someone speak to me about that, or tell us all
Okay,
about that?
the first question is not particularly one for clarification, but I'll look to staff if they have it offhand.
Sorry,
If not,
Mike,
we'll have to get it.
It
No.
is because of him, the presenter suggesting that, we don't need to do this?
I did address the
So maybe the
cost.
presenter knows.
Do you have your answer, or I can get staff?
I do. Well, I can give you the answer that's based on the document given to us by the board.
Terrific.
And I'm just going to give you the first line, which is the new school construction cost is $4.8 million on the board recommendation. The renovations we proposed were $1.8 million. However, you have to go through the whole, so you really should look at the ARC recommendation and the board recommendation. You have to go through then other costs that savings if the board recommendation goes through, and potential grants from the ministry and so forth. And so the board's bottom line total for that, actually you should ask somebody from the board because they should give you the latest numbers. I don't seem to have them.
I think staff will make note of that, and we'll make sure that is brought to trustees. Do you have an answer?
Well, through you, Mr. Chair, just a process response if I could. What we will do is we will track the questions for clarification that are being asked of staff this evening. Our understanding is the questions tonight have been for the presenters.
Yes.
So as we gathered questions on other occasions from trustees, we'll gather them this evening, collate them, respond to trustees, and put the responses on the website.
Terrific. Thank you so much for that.
So
You
could
had a
I
second
rephrase
question?
it to the presenter then? Could the presenter tell me, are there stairs in Prince Philip? Is it a 1 or 2 floor school? Presenter.
Prince Philip is a one-floor school. The students do not use any stairs within the building to engage in their educational activities or any other activities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that's 5 minutes. Are we? No, we're not at 5 minutes. We still have time for another question for clarification. Trustee Turkstrom.
Thank you very much. Do we know how many FI students are actually moving back to Dundas?
Do you have an answer for that?
I don't know the exact number, no.
Okay, do we know then how many students from Dundas are attending the school?
You mean Prince Philip?
No, Georgia or Allen.
Oh, Georgia Allen. I think they'd be going to Dundas.
Well, some of them started, or they chose to go to Georgia or Allen.
I think staff will take that away and get an answer for that. That's a good question. We're at 5 minutes now, so I'm looking for a motion to receive. Thank you, Trustee White, seconded by Trustee Brennan. Thank you. All those in favor of receiving? That is unanimous. Thank you, trustees.